Let's get to line one. Sean in Alabama. Sean, you're live.
Hey, first and foremost, let me say thank you for relocating south and joining the fight with us. I have a couple of scenarios I want to present to our Georgia voters. Obviously, I can't legally have a vote on the Senate race. Not that seems to matter these days, but we have two scenarios, and neither of which is good if you do not vote to put the two Republicans in. First and foremost, Trump gets elected. If we do not have the Senate, the first thing that's going to happen on January 21st is an impeachment hearing in the House, and then it'll go to the Senate, and it'll pass both because we don't have control. Mm-hmm. Second of all, if you have Joe Biden somehow becomes elected and you don't have the Senate, then Chuck Schumer's already told us what's going to happen, and you have to listen to the phraseology. He says, first we take Georgia. He didn't say win Georgia. First we take Georgia, then we change America. So I'm asking our voters in Georgia to walk and chew gum at the same time. Vote the Republicans, but also keep the pressure on those elected leaders in Georgia. And if you don't have any other reason, Trump asked you to, and he's done a lot for us.
That's right, Sean. Nailed it. Thank you. Sean from Alabama. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for that. And I agree with you 100%. I mean, you got to do both. Hold them accountable and also show up and vote. And let's overwhelm them with voters until we can fix this. Obviously, you just heard from David Schaefer. It's not fixed, but they're working on it. I mean, Schaefer's suing everybody. It's not like they're not doing anything, all right? It's just you got Raffensperger, Jeff Duncan, Cosmo Man, and governor in his basement, Kemp, who's turned out to be a total disaster. All right, Sean, thank you. Let's get to Andrew in Woodstock, Georgia. Andrew, line 2, you're live.
Hey, John. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Yeah, so, I'm hearing the call for us to vote again, John, and I guess within the last hour, I've heard more concerning things, 20 new drop boxes, no subpoena power. They had that signature example where the senator got an absentee ballot, even with the no match. But we're supposed to go back to the voting booth and do it all over again? I don't get it, John. So I don't know why or what we can do to fix this process. I'm continually calling them for to call for a special session, but just not getting anywhere. So I'm not sure what we're doing to right the wrongs of November 3rd.
Well, it's like Sean in Alabama said, if you sit it out, disaster strikes because these two Democrats are going to win. They're ahead right now. If the election were held today, they would win. They would win not legitimately, but they're going to steal it again. So what you say is accurate. They're just going to steal it again. They got 80,000 new voters. I don't know where they came from. Nobody released them. They got 20 new drop boxes. You got a state senator that mailed in his application with a false signature. He got it back in 2 days. Nobody checked it. So you're going to have the same thing. So that's frustrating. I understand it. But the alternative is you don't have a country. So we got to fight through this. There's not going to be a special session. Kemp's not going to call. It's not going to happen. The signature matching, they pick Cobb County because it probably has the least fraud. So they'll try to do a study that shows that everything is fine. But we just got to keep fighting, Andrew. We got to keep fighting. And I know it's frustrating, but we got to keep fighting, and we got to get out and vote on January 5th and then fix it after that. But it's frustrating. I mean, look, I've been here 6 weeks. It's a stone wall. You got Schaefer on. He's got 4,000 volunteers. They can't even watch the signature match. So what are the volunteers going to do, right?
Yeah.
They simply observe somebody opening up a ballot and sticking it in a box. I mean, they can't do anything. They have been neutered by Raffensperger. It's very frustrating.
John, if I can just follow up, what can we do, I guess, to see the 12 voters for that petition? Will those names ever be released to see if my state senator was one of the 12? Will that ever be public knowledge?
You want me to publish it, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice to see who the 12 were. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I got to figure out the way to do it so that it doesn't implicate anybody else. But yeah, when
Yeah.
we publish the 12 and you see the people that didn't sign it, yeah, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
Yeah, that would be good to know.
I just got to figure out where I can get it, because obviously those that signed it, they don't want to put themselves in a position where they ratted the others out. But so I have to figure that out. But the answer is, you have my word, I will.
Okay,
Is that fair?
John. Well, thanks for the good work. Yep.
Yeah, I'll get it out. I'll get it out ASAP. Thank you, Andrew. Line one. Let's go to Mary in Fulton County. Mary, so contrary in Fulton County. Line two. You're live.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
You're welcome.
I just wanted, after listening to David Schaefer, to say I think there's going to be much more in the way of mail-in ballots for this election for three reasons. The first, because it was so effective for the Democrats. Number two, because it's cold. And number three, because COVID is supposedly so much worse. I'm thinking they're going to be even more overwhelmed with mail-in ballots. And I just think this whole strategy that he mentioned about if Republicans just overwhelm the system, it'll make it harder for them to commit fraud. It just sounds so backwards and so inept. I mean, what a joke. In other words, they will cheat. We can't prevent it. So just try to make it harder for them.
That's why I have the best callers in the country. And Sean in Alabama was right. The other gentleman we just had on was right. And you're right. It's they're going to steal it again. And that's what we've been saying for 6 weeks. They're going to steal it again. And now it's happening before your very eyes. 80,000 new voters. No idea where they came from. The Raffensperger won't release it. By the way, I've heard from reliable sources that Raffensperger is going to be getting an award by the Democrats, the Courageous Award by the Democratic Party of Georgia, and then he will change parties. That's what I heard that from a couple of people over the last 2 days. So there's your Secretary of State. He's going to change parties in order to save his own job. What a rat weasel that guy is. That guy makes me sick. But yeah,
I know, and all the people
Mary, you're right.
surrounding
What are they going to? They're going to steal it again. They added another 20 drop boxes. There's no chain of custody. We got a state senator getting an absentee ballot where his signature was the opposite of what it was. He just made it up. Wasn't even close. He got it. So yeah, they're going to steal it again. What Schaefer is saying is, look, I mean, we've got 3 weeks. I've sued everybody. I can't make a special session. I've done everything I can do, and now all we can do is try to get everybody out and hope that we squeak by. I mean, that's basically what Schaefer said. He's got 4,000 poll watchers, but you just heard him say they can't even watch the verification of the signatures. Beach wants the governor to impound them all and throw them in the World Congress Center. That's not going to happen. They're trying, but your leadership here, Kemp, Raffensperger, and Cosmo Man, Jeff Duncan, and that's what he is, CNN Cosmo Man. They're not going to do anything.
Well,
so it's frustrating.
I was listening to the War Room sometime back, and they had suggested if there was some way to organize a recall process tied into people coming out to vote.
Yes.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yes.
Is there any movement on that?
I've gotten a couple emails. It's a very difficult thing to put together. An independent organization has to do that. The Republican Party of Georgia can't do it. I mean, you can't organize a recall to recall Republicans, right? You can't do it. So, I mean, I get David's hands are tied. Some independent organization has to step up and do that. But then you got to get the money to organize it and all that stuff. And all the money is going to Karl Rove and the other consultants to elect these 2 senators, Club for Growth, the bus tour, that we're on. That's all about the 2 senators that's where the money's going. So I've been seeing it's got to, somebody's got to organize it. They got 3 weeks. I don't have the bandwidth to do that, or I would. But Mary, you're spot on. Mary so contrary from Fulton County. Thank you, Mary. Line 1. Let's get to Patrice in New York. Line 2. You're live. Go ahead, Patrice.
Hi. I want to thank you all for what you do. Okay. Hi, my name is Patrice. I'm calling you from New York.
Thank you, Patrice. Go ahead. You're live.
Okay. I was just, somebody else may have offered this. My son was born in Dunwoody. I lived in Georgia for 5 years, and I'm just heartsick of what's going on. Is it possible for the Republicans, the ones that signed the affidavits, the taxpayers of Georgia, the ones that put their name and were put in front of hearings and put a target on their back and nothing was done, could they do a class action suit against the state of Georgia because they've been maligned, they've been disenfranchised, they were actually called liars because nothing was done, everything that they put on the line was pretty much just snubbed, and everything went forward as if they said nothing. And as far as the rest of the country, not me, but a lot of people think that, okay, well, there is, what's the word that baseless claims. But they signed affidavits. They put their name on things. Under penalty of law, they could get arrested for what they said. And they just I don't even know what else to say about it. I was wondering if it was possible.
Patrice, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to ask Linwood that. I'm going to try to have Linwood on tomorrow.
Right. I know that he put.
But I think so. I mean, look, if you sign these affidavits, you have been called a liar. If your case is not even heard, you got blown off. So yeah, there should be a class action suit. But I'll ask Linwood that tomorrow. And really,
what they've defamed their character.
I know.
Actually put themselves out on TV,
yep,
said all of this,
yep,
and everybody just actually turned their back on them.
Yep.
So as a taxpayer, if I were a taxpayer of Georgia and I did that,
yep,
now they have their, people are giving them death threats. Yep. They've actually put a target on their back. And I think that out of all the citizens, I know Linwood did his own private one as a citizen of Georgia, yep, but if somebody would take them up as a class action and sue the state of Georgia, they're taxpayers. They're citizens of Georgia, of America, of course. But they live in Georgia. They're neighbors. They're friends. They're regular, everyday people that don't have lawyers and they don't have private, people to take care of them when their kids go to school, if they can go to school anymore.
No, I get it. You're right.
I've just been trying to get that word out there. And the other thing I want to say is that Election Day matters. We need to have a chant. Election Day matters. Because I watched it all happen. I know what happened, and nobody can tell me any different. And I'm sitting in my kitchen in New York. And it's happening in New York, too. They targeted certain areas in New York, and there's certain House of Representative seats that are also have been taken. My representative in Swazi, after the election, 2 weeks after the election, all the mail-in ballots came in and they gave it to him because Cuomo also changed the rules. So this isn't just Georgia. This is everywhere.
Right. No, you're right. Patrice in New York, you need to escape. Come back to Georgia. Escape from New York.
I love Georgia. I love going down to Chattahoochee. I love I worked at Perimeter Mall, and I just loved it. I loved Atlanta.
Well, come back, get the hell out of there. Your state's a hellhole. Come to Georgia. I should say that I'm from New York, although I do hate the Mets. Let's go. I'm an Astro fan. The Mets beat us way too many times, so I hate them. Because I hate all baseball teams except mine. Mets, Yankees, Atlanta, it doesn't matter. San Diego, L.A., Name them, I hate them. Indians, it doesn't matter. I hate them all. Even the Orioles, and they stink. And now I hate the Rays too. I just hate them all. I hate every baseball team except mine. You name a team, I absolutely hate them, except my team. I love my team. Let's get to line 2. Nancy in Atlanta, you're live.
Hey, good morning, John. Thanks for
Good morning.
staying in the state and helping us out.
You're
Two
welcome.
things this morning. Georgians and others can go and look at a petition. It's at www.removekemp.com. So it's not recall, it's removekemp.com.
Removekemp.com. I love it.
Yeah. And just read it, consider signing if you agree with the petition. I'm very upset with him. I feel like he's throwing our Secretary of State, I can't even say his name. Makes me
Raffensperger.
so angry. Yeah,
Raffensperger.
I know. It just makes me angry. I can't say it.
Sounds like Mufasa, doesn't it? Mufasa.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Raffensperger.
Anyway, I think he's going to end up throwing him under the bus. Kemp thinks he's going to get out of this. He's not going to get out of
No,
this.
he's
we
a
have
dead
long memories. Yeah.
No, I think somebody
and
needs
the
to run
GBI
against them for governor.
investigation.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The GBI investigation, I know it's a good positive thing, but now the details are starting to come out. The signature audit, as you said, was in Cobb. It's a start. But Georgia Secretary of State, who is to remain nameless, posted about 40 minutes ago on Twitter that they're going to do this audit with these agents from this, GBI, making it sound all official, and it's going to take 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Are you kidding me?
Why did they
Are
pick,
you
you
kidding
know
me?
what? I'd have had a lot more confidence if they picked DeKalb County. Said, we're going to do a complete forensic audit of the DeKalb County, and we're going to audit every single mail-in ballot and every single drop-box ballot. Every single one.
The state
But no,
admitted
we're going to do
themselves
it.
that
We're going to go to Cobb County, where Trump got 50,000 of those votes. We're going to go to Cobb County, and we're going to do a limited sampling. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's a start,
And then
but, it's a fraud.
in their own press conference, they said in Fulton County they had 109 adjudicated ballots. Let us see those ballots and how they were adjudicated. Let these scientists that say they can scan 1 million ballots a day that were supposedly mailed in to see if they have fold marks. I mean, come on, the FBI can do that. The GBI can do that. We are not stupid in Georgia.
No, you're smart, Nancy.
We need to
You're
call.
smart.
We need to call the GBI. And when I called the GBI the other day just to see if they were going to do an investigation, they transferred me to the Georgia Secretary of State. I hung up and I called back. And I said, I just called and I wanted to know, talk to somebody, see if you're doing an investigation. And you transferred me to the Georgia Secretary of State.
I love you, Nancy. You're the best. At least you make me laugh. You call up the GBI and they transfer you back to Ravensburger. You're in the loop, Nance. You're just caught in the loop. John Fredericks Radio Network, live in Alpharetta, Georgia. Nancy in Atlanta, trying to do her best, caught in the phone loop. It's like, it's calling 911 and they transfer you back to like Antifa. John Fredericks Radio Network. Let's start with Robert. He's been very patient. Robert in Chester, Virginia. Robert, line 1, you're live.
Hello, Mr. Fredericks. I just found you about a month ago. I love your show. The thing that I'm curious about, maybe you can help me out with this, is that with regard to Georgia and the other states, where is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation? Where are the local district attorneys and even the police departments and sheriff's departments that are investigating any of this? Because I understand that while, to some there are those that are arguing that all this is just a civil matter at this particular point in time, sometimes, and a lot of times, when you investigate civil issues, you discover criminal acts. And then there are prosecutions that result of that, and I don't see or hear any of that. Where are these people from down there at the convention center that were counting the votes? Why haven't they been run down and brought in for interviews and asked, who told you could do this?
Robert, these are great questions, which I don't have the answer to any of those. They're great questions.
That's one of the things, is that I haven't heard anybody talking about finding out who these people are, bringing them in, and asking them just simple questions. Who said you could do this? Who said you could violate the election law?
Robert, you're right. I mean, you had the video. You had two people. Even though Raffensperger said, "Oh, there's nothing to see here, business as usual," These ballots were supposed to be there. Of course, they weren't. They got dragged out in the dark. That was a lie. But the fact of the matter is, counting ballots after they threw everybody out is illegal. And so why aren't they been questioned? Why haven't they been brought in? Why haven't they been asked, like you said, why were you doing this? On whose authority?
If you run them down and you start asking questions, especially if you put them under oath in an interview before law enforcement and even district attorney's offices, a lot of them have their own investigators. Even if the police department won't take it up, they can go and bring these people.
We need to do a hearing and we need to get discovery. I think that's really the first step, Robert. But you're right. I mean, if Raffensperger was on the level, all these people would be questioned. He's not, and so they're not. And so what they say is, we didn't ask anybody to leave. Yeah, you did. I mean, it's like it's on tape. You threw everybody out and shut the windows and shut off the lights. So, I mean, but look, they continue to say nothing to see here. It's already been debunked, and it's a baseless claim. They say it over and over and over and over and over, hoping that you'll just give up. And you're not doing it. Robert, thank you. Line 1, we appreciate it. Let's get to Diana in Michigan, line 2. Diana, you're live.
Hi, John.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, I have a question. Based on the Antrim County judge's ruling in Michigan yesterday, why can't that information be leveraged concerning the Dominion voting machines for this future election in Georgia? I mean, they found a 68% error rate versus, I think it's 0.0008 that's allowed by law.
I mean, we're going to have to ask that. I mean, because the first thing, the Secretary of State, who's in charge of the elections, Brad Raffensperger, who's a complete fraud here, right, a complete weasel, he's not going to do anything, right, because he made the decision to bring Dominion in. So he's not going to change it. And Kemp isn't going to change it. Nobody has the power to change it here in Georgia. But you're right. I mean, why are they even – I mean, all the Kemp would have to say is, you know what, or Secretary of State Raffensperger would have to say is, you know what, too many problems with the Dominion machines where they're out. We're going to paper ballots. It's going to take a while. It might take 3 days to count them. Everybody be fine. We're fine with that. So ask yourself, why don't they throw the Dominion machines out in Georgia? Why? These are the questions that nobody can give us an answer. Why isn't the GBI asking questions? Why don't they return your phone call? Why aren't the two people that were counting the ballots in the middle of the night brought in for questioning? What was their answer? Why? No answers. We get nothing. And so when you get nothing and you get stonewalled, you start to think there's something to hide. Like Lynn Wood says, he's learned over 40 years in law, when you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing. That's what he said. It's simple. He said law is simple. When you don't say something, it tells you more than when you do say something. I don't have the answer, but they're great questions, Diana. Great questions.
I just wanted your Georgia listeners to know, or voters to know, there is information out of the Michigan ruling that they can go look up. They need to hear this.
Well, and they need to read that independent analysis. Did you read that, Diana?
I did.
I mean, that thing is pretty damning.
Appalling.
I mean, I read it 3 times. I couldn't believe it. I mean, if you're going to sit there and say there's no evidence of fraud on these machines, and you read that report, it's like you have got to be kidding me. I mean, it's almost out of a science fiction book.
Exactly. Hopefully Sidney Powell uses it to our best interest.
Diana, you keep fighting in Michigan. Thank you, Diana. Thank you. All right, let's get to Paul in Mechanicsville, Virginia. Paul, you're live.
Hey, good morning, John. You didn't think you're going to get by this week without talking to me at least once. You're such a great warrior. I listened to Robert a few minutes ago, and I heard the same things I repeated to you over a week ago about why aren't these people set in offices and questioned by authorities on what they did there at the State Farm Center and the votes that night. But you talk about radical and want to send the Georgia legal system on its ear. Let's let the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, Donald Trump, send 50 or 60 FBI agents down to their 3 major counties and confiscate those machines. And they have the wherewithal to count those. Oh, look, your votes are still going to come in however you want them sent. If you want to call them absentee or whatever you want to call them from your 20 drop boxes and everything else, we're going to count them by hand. You no longer have machines to count these things. Miss, whoever she is of the head of Virginia of Georgia that lost her election as governor. This is all radical stuff, and it can be done, and it can be done legally. You talk about setting Georgia on its ear. That's what needs to be for both Kemp and Raffensperger. Hey, guys, we're sending them in, and we can confiscate these machines. We have the legal authority to do it. Let's see what they do then.
I'm with you. I mean, you got to take action. Action. Paul in Mechanicsville. Thank you, Paul.
Yep, the best defense is a good offense. The best defense is a good offense. It's time to get on offense.
See, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, and we can't stop anybody in the secondary, so just got to hold the ball. That's right. That's our strategy. Give it to Derrick Henry 27 times in a row. Thank you, Paul. I was bringing sports in, especially my teams. But I am in Alpharetta today. I'll be here again tomorrow, and then I'm going home. I haven't seen my family since Thanksgiving. I only saw them 2 days, but I haven't seen my cat in 6 weeks. So I miss my cat. I miss Sammy the cat. So miss my family, but I also miss my cat, who's part of the family. So family, cat, all the same. Let's get to Rich in Virginia Beach. Rich, you're live. Line 1.
Hey, John, thank you for going down there to Georgia for 6 weeks of your life and exposing the spineless governor and the weasel Ratlesberger. And I want to thank the Republican politicians who are fighting, like Beach Balls and others, and the GOP electors who are voting for Trump. And I want to tell the citizens of Georgia to get out your phones and record everything during the election, because we know that they're going to cheat. So let's just have evidence. So right now we're Venezuela. Let's go back to America.
You forgot me exposing Cosmo Man, Jeff Duncan. Don't forget that.
Sorry to leave him out, but yep.
Cosmo Man, hashtag Cosmo Man. He loves running the CNN, doesn't he? Got that $5,000 suit on and the perfectly coiffed hair, and he puts a little makeup on. He runs over to CNN and goes on TV. And he's got his watch, and his perfectly placed hair is in place with his hairspray. Right? Jeff Duncan, Cosmo Man.
Well, we the people got to stand up and let them know we're going to put up with a fake election.
You're right, Rich. You're right.
Thank you.
Let's see. Corey in Williamsburg says, "Trust me, your cat misses you." I think my cat does miss me. I really do. Facebook him live once in a while. Not Facebook Live. What do you do? The video chat thing, whatever you call it, with Ann, right? Where they're on the video. So we get the cat on there. I'll talk to him. He'll look right in the phone and meow at me. Let's get. Thank you, Rich. So I do miss my cat. Let's get to line 2. Thank you, Rich. Line 2, Timothy in Hampton, Virginia. Timothy, you're live.
I think a Georgia voter and Georgia presidential elector needs to file a lawsuit, and Georgia forcing the Secretary of State to reveal who those 80,000 new voters are.
I'd like to find out who they are. Do you know how hard it is to register 80,000 new voters in a month? Do you know how tough that is?
That's why a lawsuit needs to be filed.
I mean, think about it. You have to first of all identify. You have to just identify non-registered voters. You have to do a match. You have to identify them. Then you have to go there. You have to physically go there. You can't do something in a minute. You got to physically go there, or you got to get a hold of them, and you got to get them to register. Then you got to get them out. So these are people that didn't. That it's not that they didn't. That they went after people who were registered and didn't vote November 3rd, right? Because that's easy to do. Here's my Democratic voter. They didn't vote November 3rd. Let's target them. Get them out January 5th. Got it. But to go get new people registered, especially in Georgia, where, like David Schaefer was saying, you get a driver's license and it's auto voter registration, except if you decline it. So if you don't fill out the box or check it, auto voter registration. So you know how hard this is to go find people? I mean, 80,000 they got in a month? 1 month. First of all, they couldn't even start the operation until, what, November 10th? I mean, it took them a week to figure out if there was even a runoff. So it took them, so they had 3 weeks to get 80,000 voters. And now Ravensburger will not give you the list. I mean, if you want any more sign of absolute corruption that's beyond the pale, there it is. Ravensburger. I'm with you, Timothy, man. You got to just sue everybody. You got to do something. You know, but look, we've identified a group of people who are fighting. Okay? Beach, Dalzell, Ligon, this guy, this representative, I got to get a hold of him tomorrow. David Clark, somebody's got to give me his number. He's a fighter. The young fella that we interviewed in the Georgia Star News at 27 years old, so that everybody's getting strong-armed. He's a fighter. I mean, we got fighters out there, and David Schaefer's fighting. I mean, David Schaefer's a warrior, man. That guy is a warrior. I love that guy. There's only so much he can do, but he's fighting. Thank you, Timothy in Hampton. Let's go to Mike in Fort Pierce, Florida. Mike, you're live. Line 2.
Yes, sir, John. Yes, sir, John. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Excellent.
Good. I want to thank you so much for the truth and what you have going on there between you and Steve and the rest of the Patriots. You know, I can hear it in your voice today that we are having a great day, and I believe things are going to be positive in the future. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I tell you what, this is far from over, and we're actually winning.
It is.
We're not losing. We're winning. Yesterday was a winning day. Today is going to be a winning day, right? We're winning, and you're still going to get to January 6th. You're going to get disruption in the House. You're going to get these. Somebody is going to take one of these lawsuits up, I'm telling you. And once it falls, one state falls, the whole thing is going to collapse like a house of cards, right? But you got to keep fighting.
John, do you think that'll happen prior to January 6th?
Now, I think that Trump is going to get inaugurated on January the 20th.
I agree with that, no doubt about it. And I want to thank the electors for what they did yesterday.
You know, the courage. You know, look, we're upset because you got Ravensburger, Cosmo Man, and the weasel governor who's hiding in the basement, and you got all these never-Trumpers like Eric Erickson running around, and David Ralston that isn't going to do anything, and, you know, the whole bunch of them, right? All the senators that come on who made excuses. But let's think about, let's think about all the courageous people. Like yesterday, these two senators going in and getting alternate electors, right? And David Schaefer, the chairman of the party, right, suing his own Secretary of State 3 times. I mean, there's a lot of courage that came out of this, right? The guy Bill Ligon, that guy Bill Ligon in where was I? South Georgia, Valdosta, or Brunswick. I mean, they got some fighters here, man. You know, we've identified the fighters and we've identified the weasels.
Well, that's right, and I'm real happy that everybody's being exposed. And I can't thank you guys enough. Again, you and Steve and the rest of the crew and all the Patriots out there, keep fighting.
And you need to keep fighting also, because let me tell you this: we're going to fight until the final hour of the final moment of the final day. That's when we're going to fight. Until somebody puts their hand on that Bible and is inaugurated, we are going to fight for the truth. Because the truth, my friends, will set you free. The truth will set you free. Go to johnfredericksradio.com. Give us a donation so we can keep this effort going. We shine the light where there's darkness. We give you a voice. And you are silent no more. In a month? 1 month? First of all, they couldn't even start the operation until, what, November 10th? I mean, it took them a week to figure out if there was even a runoff. So it took them, so they had 3 weeks to get 80,000 voters. And now Ravensburger will not give you the list. I mean, if you want any more sign of absolute corruption that's beyond the pale, there it is. Ravensburger. I'm with you, Timothy, man. You got to just sue everybody. You got to do something. You know, but look, we've identified a group of people who are fighting. Okay? Beach, Dalzell, Ligon, this guy, this representative, I got to get a hold of him tomorrow. David Clark, somebody's got to give me his number. He's a fighter. The young fella that we interviewed in the Georgia Star News at 27 years old, so that everybody's getting strong-armed. He's a fighter. I mean, we got fighters out there, and David Schaefer's fighting. I mean, David Schaefer's a warrior, man. That guy is a warrior. I love that guy. There's only so much he can do, but he's fighting. Thank you, Timothy in Hampton. Let's go to Mike in Fort Pierce, Florida. Mike, you're live. Line 2.
Yes, sir, John. Yes, sir, John. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Excellent.
Good. I want to thank you so much for the truth and what you have going on there between you and Steve and the rest of the Patriots. You know, I can hear it in your voice today that we are having a great day, and I believe things are going to be positive in the future. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I tell you what, this is far from over, and we're actually winning.
It is.
We're not losing. We're winning. Yesterday was a winning day. Today is going to be a winning day, right? We're winning, and you're still going to get to January 6th. You're going to get disruption in the House. You're going to get these. Somebody is going to take one of these lawsuits up, I'm telling you. And once it falls, one state falls, the whole thing is going to collapse like a house of cards, right? But you got to keep fighting.
John, do you think that'll happen prior to January 6th?
Now, I think that Trump is going to get inaugurated on January the 20th.
I agree with that, no doubt about it. And I want to thank the electors for what they did yesterday.
You know, the courage. You know, look, we're upset because you got Raffensperger, Cosmo Man, and the Weasel Governor who's hiding in the basement, and you got all these never-Trumpers like Eric Erickson running around, and David Ralston that isn't going to do anything, and, you know, the whole bunch of them, right? All the senators that come on who made excuses. But let's think about all the courageous people. Like yesterday, these 2 senators going in and getting alternate electors, right? And David Schaefer, the chairman of the party, right? Suing his own Secretary of State 3 times. I mean, there's a lot of courage that came out of this, right? The guy Bill Ligon, that guy Bill Ligon in where was I? South Georgia, Valdosta, or Brunswick. I mean, they got some fighters here, man. You know, we've identified the fighters and we've identified the weasels.
Oh, that's right, and I'm real happy that everybody's being exposed. And I can't thank you guys enough. Again, you and Steve and the rest of the crew and all the Patriots out there, keep fighting.
And you need to keep fighting also, because let me tell you this: we're going to fight until the final hour of the final moment of the final day. That's when we're going to fight until somebody puts their hand on that Bible and is inaugurated. We are going to fight for the truth, because the truth, my friends, will set you free. The truth will set you free. Go to johnfredericksradio.com. Give us a donation so we can keep this effort going. We shine the light where there's darkness. We give you a voice, and you are silent no more. johnfredericksradio.com. johnfredericksradio.com.